Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today, because we're going to unpack something that is universally human, yet incredibly messy and complex. I'm talking about the intoxicating and sometimes totally chaotic anatomy of modern romance. We are setting out to explore this fascinating narrative arc, the infatuation, the commitment, the crazy possessiveness that's all baked right into the lyrics of the hit track Come My Way by TUNG MTP and TYGA. Through this lyrical deep dive, we're going to break down exactly how a simple little crush evolves into a literal, all-consuming obsession, using the direct text of the song as our roadmap. We've got an amazing journey ahead of us, so let's just get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Right from the very first breath of the song, we are dropped directly into a highly intense emotional state. I mean, the music doesn't slowly warm you up. It captures you immediately with these opening lines. Baby, come near me. Your love has tied me down. Now, notice the language of captivity here. Love isn't being described as some gentle breeze or a warm glow. No, it's a physical restraint. The narrator is willingly surrendering his freedom to this new sensation. And that perfectly sets the stage for a story where passion and total loss of control are entirely intertwined.
So it kind of forces us to ask, have you ever been held prisoner by love? It's a pretty bold question, right? But it's exactly what the song demands we consider. The lyrics actually follow up that opening by stating, just call me a prisoner. Imprisoned in this love, I don't want to escape. I want you to connect with that feeling for a second. You know that undeniable, inescapable pull towards someone where your own logic just totally takes a back seat? By framing love as a voluntary prison, the lyrics establish this foundation where extreme emotions aren't just expected, they're actively desired. And this is the starting line for the progression of modern romance we're about to break down.
To understand how the narrator becomes so captive, we really need to trace this lyrical journey step by step. And that brings us right to stage one, initial attraction.
Every great romance starts with a spark, sure, but here it is absolutely blinding. Let's look at the specific imagery used to describe this reality distortion. The lyrics paint this picture where the very moment the girl approaches, his physical environment physically changes. He describes the world literally spinning or turning completely upside down just from her walking by. He's so blinded by this initial stage that he claims he is seeing no flaws. It's that classic symptom of early infatuation, right? Where the object of affection is elevated to absolute perfection. And because of this flawless perception, his only logical response is to sprint. He describes rushing toward her heart, totally determined to win the race against any other potential suitors. It's fast, it's urgent, and it is completely disorienting.
But as we all know, that initial adrenaline rush rarely stays purely physical for long. It quickly morphs, pulling us straight into stage two. Emotional intoxication.
And this brilliantly illustrates how simple visual attraction transforms into a deep psychological hold. The artist anchored this abstract feeling using two incredibly vivid sensory metaphors, tequila and electric waves. He sings that she makes him drunk like tequila, instantly conveying that dizzying, warm, total loss of inhibitions feeling that just hits you all at once. Then he describes their connection as electric waves, penetrating deep into his mind. It's chemical, it's visceral, and it completely rewires his thinking. Love is no longer just a feeling here, guys. It is an active substance, altering his state of mind.
Now, as this intoxication solidifies, mere poetry just isn't enough anymore. The narrative naturally pivots into stage three, material promises.
Let's move to and see how this builds from emotional desire into tangible, real-world demonstrations of commitment. The lyrics lay out a very clear escalation. Step 1, he expresses the desire to buy her everything she wants, offering total financial and material devotion. But it quickly gets way more intimate than just shopping. Step 2, he states, I'm truly immersed, here are my house keys. Giving someone the keys to your home, that is the ultimate symbol of breaking down boundaries and inviting someone fully into your private life. And then, step 3, protecting his territory. Because once you've given someone the keys to your life, well, you have to defend that life, which leads us to a sudden, pretty jarring shift in the song's tone.
Because the real world always intrudes, doesn't it? This brings us right into stage 4, facing the X.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark psychological contrast happening in the narrator's mind. Up until now, the song has existed in this perfect, flawless, romantic bubble. But this stage introduces the primary conflict, the sudden tension caused by a lingering past lover. On one hand, he possesses this totally unshakable internal emotional confidence. I mean, he literally sings, because you are my absolute certainty. He has zero doubts about her value. But directly contrasting that is his external jealousy. Your ex is lurking around? What's that about? This juxtaposition perfectly captures the vulnerability of modern relationships. You can be 100% certain about your partner while simultaneously feeling incredibly threatened by the ghosts of their past. It's wild.
And when that ultimate prize is threatened, the sweet poetry completely drops away, and a fierce, protective bravado emerges. The lyrics just declare, "My girl is too hot, others better step aside," followed closely by a threat that if the ex crosses the line, the narrator will personally cross his name out. It's a primal territorial reaction. The narrator isn't just a lovesick poet anymore. He's a guard dog. This aggressive posturing is a direct result of how deeply intoxicated and invested he became in those earlier stages. He simply has way too much to lose now.
But honestly, constant aggression and bravado, it's exhausting. This leads us to the song's climax, Stage 5, the ultimate truth.
So the crucial point is that after all the expensive material promises and the chest-puffing threats, the narrator strips it all away. He drops the armor and steps right into absolute emotional vulnerability. The words repeat, "I only care about you," showing this pure, undivided focus. He even admits his own inner turmoil, confessing, "Only you make me a mess," fully acknowledging that despite all his tough talk regarding the ex, she is the one who truly has the power to unravel him. Finally, he issues this desperate plea, "Don't let anyone make you confused, baby." It's an acknowledgement that despite his certainty the choice is ultimately hers, he is completely, utterly surrendered to her influence.
Which brings us to the end of our lyrical breakdown and leaves us with a totally fascinating paradox to consider. Looking at this crazy journey from initial dizzying attraction to offering up the house keys to fiercely fending off an ex and finally landing in a state of completely vulnerable surrender, I want to leave you with this final thought. Does modern romance actually require both of these extremes to survive? Do we literally need both absolute emotional surrender and fierce territorial protection to make love work in the real world? It's a brilliant duality captured perfectly in a single song, and definitely something to chew on the next time you hear a bassline drop and a love story begin. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you on the next one.